With the public, the opinion makers, and the politicians on their side, the Dulles brothers begin planning the overthrow of Jacobo Arbenz. For John Foster Dulles, Arbenz's removal becomes a personal crusade.
John Foster Dulles was a religious fanatic. He believed that you had to defeat communism. It was a struggle between good and evil. He felt that this was a fight to the death. He was ready for war.
At CIA headquarters in the summer of 1953, Allen Dulles, the agency's director, recruits E. Howard Hunt as his propaganda chief in the plot to oust Arbenz.
And they took me into a small room in the agency and swore me a special oath. I must never tell what they were going to tell me.
Hunt can execute the covert operation, but Dulles needs a point man in the embassy, an ambassador who won't play by the rules. He appoints John Purifoy, another Cold Warrior. In his last posting, leftist guerrillas christened him the Butcher of Greece.
Purifoy era un gangster.
Purifoy was a gangster. Purifoy wasn't a diplomat, obviously. They sent Purifoy precisely for that reason, to prepare for a coup against Arbenz. He was basically a gunman. Well, he really went around with his gun here, under his jacket.
In Guatemala, Purifoy's embassy becomes the control center for the coup. The CIA takes over the top floor.
He owed the administration for his job and for his ambassadorial rank. So he was a very good boy. He went in a tamed individual, if you will, and did everything that we in CIA wanted.
Purifoy arrives in Guatemala City in October 1953. He invites the president and his wife to dinner.
He discussed in general terms, but in calm, conversational way, the dangers of letting communists take control of things.
Porque hubo un momento en que Purifoy le dijo lo siguiente a Arbenz.
There was a moment when Purifoy said the following to Arbenz.
Aquí el problema no es la United Fruit Company.
Mr. President, problem here isn't the United Fruit Company. We can make the United Fruit Company accept the expropriation as long as you kick out the communists and outlaw them.
The dinner lasts 6 hours. Arbenz is characteristically defiant. When Purifoy reports back to his boss in Washington, Arbenz's fate is sealed.
There had been some dispute within the administration and within the Department of State about is Arbenz a communist. And Purifoy pretty much put that to rest because he reported back to the Department of State. He said, I spent, I think 3-4 hours talking to President or Colonel Arbenz. And I have to say this, that I've subjected him to the duck test, and if you see a bird in the barnyard that waddles and quacks and swims like a duck, then the chances are it's a duck. As far as I'm concerned, Arbenz is a communist.
The Dulles brothers are now determined to remove Arbenz. Allen instructs Hunt to find a replacement, a man they can trust, a man the Indians will accept as one of their own. His name, Castillo Armas.
You could have taken off the army uniform, put him in Mayan costume, and had him climb one of the pyramids, and he would have looked very much at home there.
Armas is the ideal candidate. He had already tried to overthrow the Guatemalan government once before in 1950. After escaping from jail, he set up camp in Honduras. From here, he petitioned Arbenz's enemies for help.
His credentials were on his face. He was their man, and he was going to come in, he was going to get rid of the paleface.
The Americans' strongest ally inside Guatemala is the Catholic Church. The CIA contacts Cardinal Spellman in New York to take part in their psychological war against Arbenz. The Cardinal uses his authority to enlist the full cooperation of the head of the Guatemalan Church, Archbishop Arellano.
Cardinal Spellman convinced his counterpart in Guatemala to issue a pastoral letter several months before the coup, in which the Cardinal basically spelled out his message to the flock that they should rise up against the communists in Guatemala and overthrow them. And then the CIA took that pastoral letter and airlifted it around Guatemala.
I didn't author the letter myself, but I think Propaganda Shop turned it out. We had gotten the okay from Cardinal Spellman to go ahead with this. And I wouldn't presume to trace the lines of authority within the Catholic Church, how they get their information, but they do. And we've always said, you know, in an admiring way, that the Jesuits form the greatest intelligence service in the world, always have.
With the church on side, the CIA's next target, the Guatemalan military. The Dulles brothers know Arbenz's survival depends on the loyalty of his officers. The CIA plots to buy the cooperation of a select few.
When the day comes, and it's coming, stay in your barracks, that's all. We don't want you to lift an arm against anyone. Just stay there, we'll do the rest. In effect, we were just saying, hey, stay in bed and you'll be well taken care of.
The pressure is mounting. Arbenz realizes he faces a far more dangerous enemy than his familiar rival, Castillo Armas.